Hi, I'm Nat, and I've got Thomas Power here with me from Scredible. I just really want to find out what his view is on where social should actually fit. Should it fit into digital, or should it be a standalone part of the marketing process? What do you think?
Okay, so the interesting thing about digital and social is people think they're the same, or one is a subset of the other. And I think people are getting very confused because people know about social, and they know about mobile, and they know about analytics, and they know about cloud, and now they know about sensors, and they now know about crowdfunding and crowdsourcing and sharing economy. And all these buzzwords are getting them confused.
Yeah.
Because if you have too many fruits in your cocktail, it's hard to understand the taste of the cocktail. So if we start with the digital piece is the mobile app, is the analytics, is the cloud, is the infrastructure, is the back end. But digital is not social, and social is not digital. Because digital is not about engagement.
No, it's about broadcasting, right?
No. Digital is infrastructure.
Right. Okay.
Digital is systems.
Okay.
Social means engagement.
Yeah.
Social means chatting. Social means having a blah blah like this on the tape.
Okay.
So, if you think of an iceberg, the bit above the water is the bit you can see. That's the social bit.
Right. So
the bit
digital,
below the water is
you.
the digital, which you can't see.
Yeah.
Now, of course, with an iceberg, the bit below the water is bigger than the bit above the water.
Yeah. Exactly.
So the digital piece is below the water. Therefore, the people who build the digital systems think that social is a subset of digital.
Because the infrastructure is so big.
Because the infrastructure is so big.
Yeah.
But to create a true social environment, like a Facebook or a Twitter or a Instagram or a Google Plus, any one of these hugely powerful social infrastructures takes massive investment in labour, skills, and obviously all the environment and back end. But the bit that you and I see is the bit above the iceberg. We see Facebook Messenger or a tweet.
Yeah.
Or a share.
Or we see Power Editor that gives people massive headaches.
We only see the consumer, but the consumer's not interested in digital.
No.
They just want it to know it works.
They just want engagement. They want to.
And if you liken it to cars, the digital piece with cars is the roads. The social piece is the car. Now you need a lot of road infrastructure to run around in cars, but the car is only 10 square feet.
Yeah.
Once you're inside it. But people don't sit there worrying about the roads in Kent. They worry about the car they're going to drive to Kent. But the infrastructure costs, the billions and billions of pounds have gone into the creation of the road infrastructure. That's the digital piece. Now, the social piece is the car piece, is the chatty piece, is the engaging piece, is this piece, is your Twitter conversation, your Facebook conversation, your LinkedIn connection. That's the only bit that people see. So as a result, you hear people saying, oh, it's mobile first. Oh, we've got to do mobile first. Or it's all about analytics. Well, you've got to do cloud first. And I think, well, people are getting confused. It's absolutely definitely social first. And then you expect social to be mobile.
Yeah.
You expect it to be in the cloud. And you expect it to be able to analyse the data in terms of the big data and the analytics piece. The bit that's confusing people in all this is inside your Samsung phone there, or in my iPhone.
Yeah.
Are loads of sensors. Sensors. And those sensors are gathering data and putting them. They're gathering data from this social piece, but putting it inside that digital piece. So the sensors are the glue. The between the social piece above the water in the iceberg and the digital piece below the water. The sensors are almost like the water connecting the two. But if you try and have an argument about this with sophisticated techs,
Tech geeks. in
tech
other
geeks,
words. Yeah.
or a CIO or a CTO,
Yeah.
definitely say the digital piece is more important.
Yeah.
But you see, geeks are not social.
But it's chicken and egg, isn't it?
You've got to have you can't have cars without good roads.
No.
If you've got a crappy road, there's no point in buying a car unless you buy a big Jeep.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is
I don't know. Quite like a Jeep.
yeah, if you want a Jeep.
Yeah.
But if it was a muddy road all the way to Kent, you wouldn't be thinking about going there on a Sunday. The fact
No.
that you can get there in an hour on the motorway.
Very true.
You don't think about the motorway though. You think about the car you're going there in,
Yeah.
and that's the social.
So in
piece.
other words, it's the user experience.
It's the user experience that
Yeah.
matters, and that's why where we're moving to is social business, and digital business is just infrastructure.
Yeah.
But now it's social business in a sharing economy. So you've got this Airbnb thing where people are renting out their spare room
Yeah.
for 50 quid or 100 quid, whatever it
It's
might
disruptive.
be. And now Airbnb are booking more rooms in Paris
Hmm.
than all the hotels in Paris. There's 1,000 hotels in Paris. Well, that's upsetting that whole industry.
Yeah.
It's really painful, that.
Yeah. And it's going to
And that-
happen more and more and more.
And
to
if you think
all
about
sorts of
something very
companies.
simple, something trivial and something arguably pathetic. If you and I live in the same street,
Mhm.
and there's maybe 50 to 100 houses in that street,
Yeah.
in reality we don't all need a drill. And we don't all need a lawnmower.
That's a very good point. Wow.
We don't all
So
need
it
a car.
It could be the next solution, couldn't it?
We could share the cars.
Yeah.
We could share the drills.
Yeah.
We could share the lawnmowers.
Yeah.
Now, those people say, well, I've got to have my own drill and I've got my own
Well,
lawnmower.
you're always going to get those people.
But in terms of a resource, they're underutilised.
Yeah.
So you could share everything. Now, of course, the idea, this is a nightmare for people who make drills
Yeah.
or make lawnmowers, because they want everyone to have one. So you're not just affecting the market share of the brands, you're affecting the whole thought process of where would we keep everything. Because you might have a little hut in the middle of the street, and that's where you keep the drills and lawnmowers, and people go and use
Yeah.
them when they need them.
Yeah, you have
and then
a
they put them back there.
Yeah, you have communal barbecues and communal
Exactly.
seating and whatever.
And so you return to the environment that it was before we had everything for ourselves.
Mm.
And the French have a saying, plus ça change, plus c'est la même chose. The more things change, the more they stay the same. So we're actually returning back to the original model. And this social business sharing economy model is a return to the way it was before we became self-owning capitalists. Because history repeats itself
Yeah.
over and over again. And it's very helpful being a historian more than a technologist like me. Because at my heart I'm a historian. And then
Very
you have to
interesting.
contextualise this new world and then try and help and teach and coach and support and nudge and
Yeah,
cuddle these
Yeah.
directors into context.
yeah,
Because many of the tasks they're now doing are irrelevant. But because they've been through a business case and been approved and the money's been allocated and they're being spent, they're actually spending money on things that are no longer relevant. And the reason
Yeah.
they don't know that they're not even relevant, they don't even know that they don't know,
no,
because they have no context.
no.
And the trouble with the environment of the new world is if you focus on your P&L and you focus on your balance sheet,
Yeah,
you will not see the new economy.
I get you.
You will not see it.
So it's really a question of actually spotting the trends and analysing the possibilities as they come.
Yes, it is, yeah. It's getting
Yeah.
context. And then choosing which part of the market you want to participate in. Whether you choose to be an equity holder in a sharing economy model, acquire a sharing economy model, or do your own startup.
Yeah,
But if you think you can beat a swarm of what are effectively dangerously powerful, almost like terrorist networks,
yeah,
coming at you,
yeah.
you're not.
No,
It's better just to invest in the network and take your share from their share
Yeah.
But to think you can defeat them and
Well,
swat them like
you
a
just,
fly.
You just need a massive amount of capital to create that kind of infrastructure.
But what's happening with Airbnb
Mhm.
and with Uber with taxis?
Yeah.
This nightmare
Yeah.
is coming to every industry on the planet.
Yeah.
Every single industry.
Yeah.
And even when you suggest it's coming,
Mhm.
tell people it's coming, and give them the argument of why it will come anyway,
Yeah.
people still don't believe you. And if you tell somebody something that's become obvious to you, albeit ahead of time,
Yeah.
and they still don't believe you, then the source of most of the data that they're receiving into their head is unreliable.
Yeah.
And the
But
people around them are not giving them the right data because they're focused.
Yeah. Well, but is it because they're focused because they have a lot of money coming in and they're not, say they're earning 3, 4, 5 or £1 million a year, you know, is it because they're earning so much money that they're just not bothered, that they've actually got more money than they need potentially for the rest of their lives, and they know they're going to retire in 5 years' time, or even they could retire now, they have enough to last them for the next 50 years, for instance, so they don't really care?
Well, that's true. Certainly, if you have enough resources to survive to retirement, then obviously you wouldn't care.
No.
And if you're 50 years old and the CEO of a big company, then you wouldn't care.
No.
But if you're 35 to 45,
Mhm.
you're going to be the chief executive of that company in 2020,
Yeah.
and you've got to get it from 2020 to 2025 or to 2030. If you don't know this stuff, you're going to die.
Yeah.
And as Mark Andreessen, who invented the browser, said,
Mhm.
he thinks 3/4 of the Fortune 500 aren't going to make it.
He invented the browser.
Yeah.
Mm.
And if they're not, if the best run companies in the world, hiring the best people from the top universities
Yeah.
with unlimited capital, can't fight the resource that's coming at them, then that's very similar to the situation in the Middle East,
Mm.
where you've got an unlimited amount of weaponry unable to defeat a terrorist network. With many years of practice, with very skilled people,
Yeah.
with a lot of capital and unlimited resources, because they're trying to defeat something that they can't see.
Yeah. And it happens so quickly that it's just overnight.
And as unfortunately you see in the Middle East, the vacuum, once it's left, is absorbed very quickly.
Yeah. And no one really even notices that they've gone.
Yeah, and so
They're just like, oh yeah, you remember Woolworths? No one really remembers Woolworths, do they?
you have to get,
You know?
you have to learn to think in an open, random, and supportive way.
Hmm.
You've got to be open to everything. You've got to accept the random nature of things. Being focused is a burden.
Yeah.
And you've got to give up your desire for control and seek to support
Mhm.
the market. You've got to get context, and you've got to get context fast, very fast. Because you're right, the people now who are financially independent or have the resources to get through to retirement, they don't care.
No. But then how?
But the executives who are your age,
Yeah, but the thing is,
who are
though,
going to be running Big Co in 2020,
yeah. But then how do you actually convince a very busy chairman or managing director? If you're that guy who's on the board, how are you actually going to convince all of these other people? Say I'm the 30 to 45-year-old, and I
Yes,
want
you are.
to. Yeah, I am, and I want to convince those people on the board that they should take action, and they are closed to possibilities. How do I actually convince them to
Well, it's like all
take
for-
action? Do I just tell them they're going to have a lot of pain? What's the method for?
like all forms of education, you've got to find directors who wish to learn.
Mhm. Yeah.
So if you have directors who don't wish to learn,
Yeah.
it's hard to teach.
Yeah.
You've got to find directors who have motive and desire to consider another point of view.
Mhm.
If they don't have that,
Yeah.
then you can't push water uphill.
No.
So you want to find people who are enthusiastic learners,
Mhm.
who are not afraid to be taught.
Yeah.
Who's not being trained, they're being taught
Yeah.
a new way of driving
Yeah.
in an environment that they've not seen before.
Mhm.
So you can only teach your enthusiasts, and then it's a function of time.
Right.
How long it takes before they go, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
And a lot of directors say, oh, I get this stuff. Oh, I really do get this stuff. But until you do it, you don't get it.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately online, to know and not to do is not yet to know. To know
Yeah.
and not to do
Exactly.
is not yet to know.
No.
You and I
It's
both.
practice.
You
You can get anywhere without practice.
If you want to get good at any sport, you've got to go out there and you've got to hit that ball
all the time.
over and over
Every day.
and over again.
Yeah.
And you can't say, oh, I get tennis or I get golf unless you
No.
practice.
Yeah.
And with Twitter and Facebook and all these environments, you've got to practice
Yeah.
day in, day out,
Yeah.
until you've got context.
Yeah.
And then when you reach the point where you understand the context, then you decide on your strategy, which could be to invest in the predators,
Exactly. Yeah.
hire the skills to match the predators,
Yeah.
or find some way of acquiring the predators.
Very much. Yeah. It's the only options.
There isn't really anything else you
No.
can do.
No.
But that journey from being closed, selective and controlling to open, random and supportive, to go from closed to open, that's a year.
Right. So it's changing. So it's changing the actual
Mindset.
hard wiring of
In your head.
of the brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to get that hard wiring to change,
Mhm.
to go from closed to open, that's a year.
Right.
To go from being selective with data
Yeah.
to accepting the random nature of data,
Mhm.
that's another year.
Right.
And to go from seeking control to being supportive, that's another year.
Right.
So that's 3 years,
At best.
at best.
Yeah. It
Even
could
if
take
you're-
5.
Even if you're very bright, that's it
Yeah.
at best. So it's 2014.
Yeah.
So best case, if you start now,
Yeah.
you can get there in 2017, the summer of 2017, by which time these predators,
Yeah. Will have already devoured your business.
well,
Will have
not
eaten it.
necessarily devoured, but they're going to be causing disturbance.
Yeah.
And disturbance, just like ISIS in the Middle East, in Syria and Iraq,
Yeah.
or the Taliban in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
You hit them and hit them and hit them and hit them, they're still there.
Yeah. 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 Because
You
you
hit them
can't
and
see
hit-
them.
You can't
You can't fight them.
You can't fight the target. So you either have to become like them, finance them, or try and buy them out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
they've attempted all of those options in the Middle East, and all of those options have failed. So the only thing you can do is behave like them. And that's obviously a very scary decision, because you've got to get those skills.
Exactly.
You've got to get those skills, and you've got to get them on the board of directors.
There's much pain involved with changing those people's mindsets as well. Much pain for them.
Yeah, but
Because
pain,
to
it's
start-
not
yeah,
good.
but to
It's not
start
nice
with-
to run towards pain. You want to try and if you were attempting to climb Mount Everest, or we were attempting to do it together, we would only do it with an experienced Sherpa who'd done it before. So you've got to go up, you've got to climb these mountains
Exactly.
with people who've done it before.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks very much. Really appreciate
Nice to
that.
talk to you, Nat. And there's
Cheers.
Rob in the background.
Hey Rob.
Hey guys.